All right, well, let's get started now. I'll quit messing around here with this technology and get into our topic of the day. My name is Greg Luhman. I'm from ADTRAN. I'm a business development manager. Have been working in broadband since, oh boy, 1999. And it's been an exciting road, and really things have changed over the years, and we're really working on and talking about creating customer experience now in the industry, and what does that really mean? What goes into it? How can we pull things together? So creating exceptional customer experience becomes more and more important every day, and all of a sudden everybody wants to talk to me at this very moment. I apologize. Turn a few things off here. Sorry. So when we talk about creating exceptional customer experience, a lot of things go into that. It's kind of talk across many different industries. Telecom is no exception. Companies like ADTRAN, our service provider partners, no exceptions. That's really what the focus is on. A lot of this has been driven by kind of those Web 2.0 companies, things like Facebook and Amazon. Sorry. Things like Facebook and Amazon really drive this idea of we can change and evolve the customer experience and make our offerings work differently, deliver differently. We no longer need to drive to a store to pick things up. We don't have to have a physical catalog. It's all digital. It's all driven by the web. Telecom and services can absolutely take advantage of that and do those same kinds of things. And that's really what we're driving into customer experience. At ADTRAN, we think of this a lot. It really fits in well with our vision. And our vision is to really enable a fully connected world where the power to communicate is available to everyone, everywhere. And that's what we're working on. And driving customer experience really fits hand in hand with that idea. So ADTRAN, we've got some unique capabilities that we're building around this idea of creating that customer experience and excelling at it. And we do that with our vision statement in mind. Are we enabling that power to communicate everywhere with everyone? Customer experience, what is it? What really drives into it? It's all about the end impression that you're delivering to your customers. End to end, what does your customer feel about the relationship they have with your service provider business? From the day the conversation starts to the time that consumer will dispose of the service. Hopefully that'll be many, many years. This impression, it's created across multiple touch points, and it's primarily influenced by the people in your organization and the products that you put in front of your consumers. It's a constant measuring stick. There are multiple touch points, as I said, for service providers. It's a little bit different. Service providers still have a physical install to do. We're still in a physical world. We can't digitize fiber cables. So the installation, this becomes the primary touch point, and it's the real birth of service. And again, your people and your products are going to drive that impression that you leave with that customer when you do the installation. Network effectiveness. Does the network meet the ever-changing needs of your consumer? Again, that's going to be driven by your people and your products. Those decisions, how you train your people and the products you decide to put in your network. The support, this is the ongoing test of your relationship with the customer. Again, driven by people and products. People and products, those are two kind of base functions of this idea of customer experience. It's been that way forever, and it will never change. So we spend a lot of time thinking about training people, putting them in the right position, enabling them to create excellent customer experience solutions. That becomes a critical bit of thinking. How are we enabling our people? Do our products help us do that? Do we have manageable tools that we can use? So when we're installing a service, which I said before, this is the primary touch point and the real birth of this relationship. You got to think about how these expectations have changed by the consumer. Things like the nature of software. A consumer can spend thousands of dollars without leaving their home through a web browser on a computer and have that product delivered to them instantaneously. Thousands of dollars in licensing for things like Microsoft Office or recording software. Thousands of examples out there. On the lighter side of it, more of a consumer view is the streaming applications, things like Netflix, things like Amazon Home Video, things like Hulu. Those are literally, I jump into a web browser or an app, I sign up, and I can start handing that company my money. Very frictionless. Those changes have changed customer expectations. So can we start to apply those capabilities to the networks we're building and the solutions we're delivering? And here at ADTRAN, we think we absolutely can. The idea of customer self-install becomes critical. So when we're delivering that service to a customer, it needs to be convenient. Can the customers do these installs at their leisure? Absolutely. We have app-driven models today that allow service providers to essentially hand product over and installation over to the end user. So it can be done at the consumer's pace. It needs to be fast and intuitive. We're leveraging digital technology, our wonderful cell phones that just rang 12 times at the start of this presentation. They can be leveraged to help the consumer do these self-installs, fast and intuitive. We live in this digital kind of cell phone enabled, mobile enabled world. We're tethered to our cell phones about as much as our cell phones are tethered to networks. So we need to live in that world, and we need to start going that direction. We're building those solutions out at ADTRAN, kind of under that ethos of delivering that power to communicate to anyone, anywhere. One of the big advantages we get when we go this route, OpEx reduction. On average, we're saving $150 per users with service provider partners that are using customer self-install. There's a big advantage not only for the consumer, allowing them to build out the network at their own pace, but service providers are saving dollars per install with this idea of self-installation. So once we establish the service, we need to assure that the network we've built is effective. Is this network available? Are you in your consumer's neighborhood? But even more importantly, can it be delivered everywhere in the customer's home? This becomes a huge question, something we didn't always think about. The DMARC has always been on the side of the home. Today, that is moving to every corner of the home. And can your customer manage what you're delivering? Is the service simplistic enough? Is it optimized enough so the consumer can manage it themselves on a day in, day out basis? Is our network reliable? Can the customers depend on the connection? Is it always on? Is it always speedy? Do we have the capacity? Can we run today's applications? Can we do 3 Zoom calls out of a consumer home on a consumer account now that most students are at home doing distance learning? And can we deliver for our customers anytime? And not just thinking about the individual homes, but the individual users in those homes. So we have to expand our thinking around things like availability, reliability, and capacity. Again, thinking about, is that power to communicate available to everyone, everywhere. That's really the idea. With the advent of fiber to the prem, the growth in things like GPON and now XGS PON, and the optimizations we're starting to see around combination PON, we're starting to tackle a lot of these questions that are on the screen right now. You know, service providers, availability, constantly building out, growing networks, getting into everybody's neighborhood. There's a nationwide effort going on that we're all going to start participating here in, I think, the end of the month, the RDOF program, and that's all about, are we in those neighborhoods? Absolutely, we're addressing that. Are we reliable? Yes. Telecom's always been about 5 nines of reliability. This has been a focus for years. Capacity, again, the advent of prem, we've built out there. Two things really kind of on the list that really drive it home is, can we be delivered everywhere in the home? Can our solutions get to every corner of a house, of a residence, no matter how big or how small? And then can the customer manage what we deliver? Those are two new questions that I think we need to focus on. And as we do that, we're going to increase our customer satisfaction and create better customer experiences. We can absolutely deliver our network connectivity across a home using modern Wi-Fi systems. We can easily provide complete coverage these days, whether it's a 600 square foot home or a 6,000 or a 16,000 square foot home. There are solutions available. The ADTRAN solution that we're selling today is easily adaptable to any size home and can be built out very effectively, very simply. And actually, a lot of that growth, a lot of that additional coverage, that can be built out by the homeowner. Because what we're trying to build, what we're putting into the network with our modern systems in terms of Wi-Fi is really putting that Wi-Fi network on autopilot, building the intelligence into the network itself so we can have truly adaptive solutions that will monitor and adapt to the current physical environment that they're in. What you're seeing on the screen here is just one example of how our ADTRAN Wi-Fi solution essentially drives itself. We do scheduled optimizations every night, and that is the system looking for essentially adds, moves, and changes that have happened in the physical environment of the home. And we review that, and our Wi-Fi solutions will change their architecture based on what they see. We can trigger optimizations instantly if needed, but we're constantly monitoring. And in a placid environment where things are relatively static and normal, we'll double check every night. If we need to make a move, the network will do it. All of this is done behind the scenes, intelligently in the cloud, without interaction on the part of a service provider or an end user. So building out a network that's truly adaptive becomes key. The other piece of the puzzle that we talked about is the support mechanism. Maintaining this ongoing relationship with your customer. Again, your people and your product, these two things are deeply intertwined when it comes to creating an excellent support experience, which is going to drive your customer experience. So as we're knitting things together, we need to think of how are our people going to be affected, and what products do we need to put into our networks that will enable our people and empower them to deliver the highest customer experience available. We need to empower our customer service reps. When they are on the phone, they are the first line of contact day to day with our customer base. When they're picking up that phone, they need to be highly effective. They need to be able to knock out problems, solve issues, answer the customer's questions in a matter of seconds. They need to be able to do this over the bevy, across the bevy of different technologies that we may have put in our network. Many service providers have different levels of technological debt, different generations of equipment. We can use software today to empower our CSRs and build one view of the network, and really, more importantly, one view of the customer, regardless of what technology they're connected to. Our customer service individuals need to be able to know that their customer is online using possibly one of our legacy technologies, but maybe they're on the latest and greatest. We need to tell our customer service people that information up front. So when we pull up the customer records for Mrs. Jane Doe, our customer service rep can absolutely see, yes, you're connected to a DOCSIS network, you're connected to an XGS-PON network with just a glance of the screen. We want to have one view of that customer across all the different network capabilities that we have in-house. We want to be able to pull in their billing system information. So we know not only this customer is an XGS-PON subscriber, but they're paying X dollars a month. They've got our wireline assurance package. So this better be a darn good call, because they're paying for better experience, a better customer solution, a higher level of service. We need to be able to tell our CSRs that. They need to be able to get to this information in seconds. We never want to have that conversation with the customer. Do you know your account number? Because I can't find you in my system. That is the dagger in the heart of a high-end customer experience. If you put your CSRs on the phone with your consumers and they can't use natural language search, first name, last name to find them, you've put your customer service rep at a disadvantage, and you've put your brand at a disadvantage. So you need to have software tools, and you need to have systems and records built out that can empower your CSR. So in a matter of seconds, they have everything they need to support that customer, no matter what that customer is calling about. They need to have access to that info in a matter of seconds. The other side to this, while we're working to empower our CSRs, we also need to be diligent and empower our customers. The idea of customer self-management is very much a reality today. Not only in terms of doing a self-install, but of interacting with the network and the products we deliver on a day-to-day basis. As I alluded to earlier, our current Wi-Fi solution does a lot of self-healing, a lot of self-management up in the cloud intelligently. So we can now layer on additional services, additional experiences on top of that Wi-Fi network. So instead of just simply delivering a high quality Wi-Fi connection that's essentially going to manage itself, we can build a block of services built up around the Wi-Fi network inside the home and give the customers interfaces not only to manage their physical layer, but to manage the additional services that we're adding on top. So using things like cell phones and digital interfaces, we can enable things like parental controls, cybersecurity, Wi-Fi based motion detection for physical security. And we can give the consumer the ability to manage those features end to end inside these digital interfaces that we have on all of our consumer smart screen devices. So it's all about building out not only additional product, but product that can be self-managed, self-enabled, turned on and off, and interacted with the touch of a button on a screen through a self-management interface like we have in our mobile app for our Wi-Fi solution. You really got to think about building these things into the network. This is going to drive your network effectiveness, and this is going to drive that customer experience. Because now not only are you delivering great Wi-Fi to your consumer, you're also delivering things like content management, cybersecurity, physical security, right in the home, all built on top of the Wi-Fi network that we've been building for a number of years. Adding self-management interfaces to these features becomes key. So now the onus isn't just on the service provider to turn and tweak these features, but the customer is in control as well. Customer can fix issues or adapt the system to their liking as they're using it. So as we build these features into our networks, we can think about where we're influencing your network. For the service provider, we're enabling our CSRs. The better our CSRs are enabled, the faster we're going to solve problems, and we're going to supercharge our customer experience. Subscribers are empowered as well. We're not only giving them additional features, additional bells and whistles, but we're giving them the power to personalize the products that we're delivering. Our network elements, of course, need to be highly intelligent in this environment. We need to deliver rock solid Wi-Fi, a rock solid physical layer. We need to start pushing our thinking beyond, though, just delivering the physical layer and kind of moving up the stack to where we can show the subscriber some really excellent experiences, and we can empower our people to manage those customers very effectively. Building this into your network is going to be key for the future. So we can work on getting everything as automated and as push button as possible, so we can become the Amazon of telecom for your exchanges. One of the reasons we need to definitely start thinking about this is the idea of the bundle inside the telco network is rapidly being, I won't say deconstructed, but reconstructed. The consumer isn't always looking for voice, video, and data today. There's been a huge shift away from voice. Again, gobbled up by, can I do this again? That guy right there. We all know that. Video being disrupted by players like Netflix and Hulu, and we've all seen that. So reforming the triple play bundle becomes essential, and we can start to drive down churn rates and create traction and stickiness with our customer by delivering things like adaptive Wi-Fi, like access control, AI security, home awareness, cybersecurity, physical security, rock solid Wi-Fi. We need to think about bundling those into our network, and that becomes the triple play service that we deliver now. Customers who have jumped on this train are seeing proven results. The advanced capabilities that we're delivering to our customer reps, we're reducing call times by 4 minutes. We're reducing truck rolls 67%. And these are truck rolls after the install. That self-install savings, we can, easily see up to $150 saved per customer. Adding additional services, allowing the customer to personalize the products that you're delivering to them, that's reducing churn. Generally, when you put a package like this together, you find an increase in revenue of roughly $10 a month. So there's something there, something tangible, something substantial above and beyond reducing our costs. We're increasing our revenue per user. Net provider scores with these advanced systems get driven up. There's a lot of value for the service provider here. Substantial network savings can be seen, and these numbers scale up and down. We're looking at a 10,000 subscriber network here. Things like call-in reduction, call time reduction, truck roll reduction, all these things I've talked about, you're saving substantial money on a yearly basis. These numbers scale up or down, whether you're 10,000, 1,000, or 100,000. All of these things can come in and help you increase your value of your network. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. We have a couple minutes for questions. If anyone has any questions or comment, I'm available. I got the chat up here. Eric Anders, with the home awareness portion, does this mean we can expect to see a video home security product lineup? So the pushing into CCTV is not on the roadmap right now. I would never say never to that, but I can tell you right now, an actual home security package, video-based, is not on the lineup. What we're doing with the Plume partnership is doing motion detection in the home based on the Wi-Fi network. That's a very effective solution. Plume continues to tweak it and optimize it